What would a $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, even a $10,000 sale do for your course or your coaching business? Well, oftentimes I end up interacting and working with a lot of consultants, coaches, agency owners, entrepreneurs who are just getting started trying to sell what they know and package it up in a way that is appealing to their ideal client avatar. That way they can put a price tag on it anywhere between $2,000 to $10,000. That's exactly the situation that's facing Ty and Earnest Benjamin, two clients that I love working with. As Christian coaches, we're struggling with trying to figure out not only their offer and the strategy, but this one key element that is crucial to be able to say that you have an offer that is worth $2,000 to $10,000. There are a mix of possibilities or challenges that oftentimes individuals who are selling what they know or are selling a service in exchange for premium or a high ticket price tag. What I will say about individuals who are below $25K per month are typically these main three buckets are always an issue. It is the issue of mindset leading into their ability to take action and start. It is knowing exactly what they need to say, when they need to say it, and having a very simple and streamlined and potentially scalable sales process. And then going one step further and having a way to track everything, systemize it, knowing their best quality clients, where are they coming from? So that would come down to attribution. And then hiring someone, at least one contractor, typically an appointment setter or a remote closer who is solely working off of commission. Then it comes down to traffic and just continuing to replicate what's already working. That was in fact the situation for Earnest and Ty, where not only do they have some minor mindset issues, which you will see in just a moment when I show you the recording of the actual call where we start laying the foundations of the strategy, but also discuss this one main factor that's pivotal in their ability to execute, their ability to see this business through and rely on each other as Christian coaches and show up for other entrepreneurs who are in fact walking in the faith and believe that they're serving God. This creates the groundwork and makes room for us to focus on tackling these three main pillars, which are often the biggest hurdles for an individual who is trying to sell using a Google Doc, using any method out there that they were taught in some course or some coaching program, and then feeling good about and like they're legitimate, feeling good about whatever it is that they're selling based on what they know. In your own words, I would love to hear, why would somebody buy from you and what are they buying?
We're trying to use that story and what we had to go through, roll through, and help others who may be where we were. We do have two different stories. My side is kind of as a working mom, became a stay-at-home mom and navigating that whole transition, starting homeschooling and kind of losing myself within that and really having to work on the mental adjustment to help me to be better, to be a better wife, a better mom, to show up how I wanted to show up at home, how I want to show up at home. And even some of my entrepreneurial things that I've done in terms of, starting my own businesses with boot camps and women and things like that. And even now, podcasts, is understanding that for me, anyway, some moms, they still like, that's all it is, right? That's mom and wife. That's all I have to life. But, you could still, pursue some of those passions and do some of the things, use your gifts still, right? Even at home. And so that's kind of part of my message in helping women need that and still strive to be the greatest they can in all areas.
I would ask, I believe what will help us to help individuals all where we were is our willingness to be authentic with them, be vulnerable with them. The fact that we can truly speak to that pain, speak to that depression or that paralyzation that comes from fear and those things, and show them that it is possible to conquer those things and the potential is limitless of where you can go and what you can be.
Okay, great. So if I heard correctly in between the lines there, and I think you both have, you're right, very different narratives, but you're focused on the same outcome, right? And I love that mission. But if I heard correctly, this is more the connection and relationship that somebody already has with God, right? So we're not talking to people who don't believe in God. We're specifically talking to people who are entrepreneurial and they have faith and it aligns with, they know they're meant for more and they want to serve God, and you're going to help them see the path that's necessary for them or steps they need to take in order to grow their business or grow themselves. Is that correct?
It's the umbrella. I think as we work the process more, we'll identify where we can perhaps have some real analytics and numbers of how it can improve their finances, how their mindset change can improve their relationship.
As you have more conversations, as you are uncovering how you could potentially help someone, you're going to start noticing patterns in these people who are entrepreneurial, ambitious, God-fearing people. right? As we give you support and strategy and feedback and direction, we want to make sure it's congruent to what you're actually selling, right? So that what we are saying in the inbox, what you're saying in your content is going to end up aligning with that outcome or that result that we help people with. I think that's a beautiful mission. Is that something you've already been doing? You've got clients right now, or maybe you can paint that picture for me on what's the current situation.
We've been doing it somewhat unofficially. I've been in ministry for
Yep.
about 15 years, so it's been a lot of working through those struggles myself, and kind of mentoring and counseling other folks through some of those particulars and those type of ancillary issues. So, but it's been unofficial. It hasn't been out. They've kind of been seeking us out, been helping them as they come. We've had some training, coaching, training through John Maxwell team, still developing in that well. But in terms of business and our practice per se, officially, it's really the beginning.
In terms of what we've been doing, we started Gifted Failures United, kind of what we're focusing on back in 2020. And we had started the idea of, we want to do this to show other people. This is when it really started 2020. And so we kind of started putting, posts out there, social media posts on this different mindset thing, spiritual thing. We started a group and we started doing videos. He would talk about certain, pain point, and we started building a following. And then we relocated. He got a new job, and so we kind of let that go. And so we're kind of going back to that where we were in 2020 and building on that and expanding upon that idea, even with our followers, because we have people coming to us saying, "Where's Gifted Failure? I really, really love Gifted Failure." I went back to watch your video and things like that. So we were building a following and let it go. So now we're trying to revamp that.
Okay. For Gifted Failures United, this is a group, right? Or this is like a page or some sort of business or organization that was a brand, and it's not been visible recently until now, but it used to be, right? And I imagine the time frame probably overlaps with a pandemic, so it's like maybe that also played a role in the accessibility and the heightened emotional state for a lot of people. So here's my question, if that is true, because I see you guys nodding your head. You mentioned that you guys ended up like life changed, right? Somebody took a job and moved, relocated, and that's cool. Life happens. But do your followers know? Like, do these people know what happened? Did we share any updates with them? Like, hey, we're moving across the country, or hey, this thing's happening, or God's called me to do XYZ thing, and so we'll keep you posted and we'll be back. Has anything like that happened?
That's exactly what was said. We shared that a new opportunity came about and relocating to Virginia, and that we will be back. And then we recently posted back in the group, hey, stay tuned, we're coming back. And we have some people join the group as well. So.
Okay, wonderful. And what are we doing at the moment for new traffic, or what have you been doing regarding the group? Prior to joining this program, what were you doing already?
That's kind of where we are. We don't really have a strategic content calendar.
Okay.
So once we kind of relaunched, if you will, or re-engaged our mind, we did a post that had a video we created that kind of explained my story and what a Gifted Failure was. Kind of like we're going to recommit to this vision and helping people do this avenue. But then from there, just kind of doing like random posts on the page and in the group. Things that were ideally designed to be inspirational, or either quotes or information that we thought would speak to those who may be having some of those similar struggles, but nothing defined, nothing organized.
So how were these 294 followers and 20 people in the group, how were they acquired? Can you share that with me?
Yes. So when we just began, we started something called Gifted Mondays. And basically every Monday we release a video, and it'll be him speaking. And he's the minister saying that he can make shit in the sense that he can deliver, his delivery would capture you, right? And we'll be talking about pain point or something. And he would just kind of talk to me about 10 minutes on something. And we would, like I said, every Monday post it, and then we'll share it to our personal pages. And that's how it grew. People just started, being attracted to that, the video.
You can really commit.
Okay.
This is very much, but it was.
We did it until we moved. The move was unexpected. So, just landing in our lap.
Okay. That's not a problem. We're going to prioritize our focus on whichever Facebook personal profile you guys will be using. Okay. So what that means is if it's going to be both of you as the face of the brand, even though it's a 70-30 or a 60-40 kind of situation, then it's your personal profile representing you, who you are, right? And then from there, using your Facebook group to share this once a week resource or training or ministry. We definitely are wanting to be intentional. We don't want to be random. But at the same time, I imagine that you all don't have, 60 hours a week to allocate to this. And so you'll just leverage a theme for the days that you will be posting on your personal profile. Okay. And the good news is you don't have to post every single day, long content that takes hours to write. You just can kind of share your day to day, right? And that's easy to do in the stories and stuff. And so I'm really excited for sharing that with you and just kind of fleshing out that part of the strategy. Let's say right now, I told you, hey, I've got these 5 people who are ready to work with you. Would you have absolute conviction and certainty and confidence in saying, our program is $3K, Aiden. We're ready to get started. How do you feel? I'm not hearing a heck yeah, so I'm a little worried. What's going on?
Only because I don't quite know the program. I feel like our skill and, our talented things will be able to do it. It's just the deliverable.
Okay, got it. Your confidence in what you're helping the person achieve. Is that right?
Yeah, as I think about it, I definitely think so in terms of the coaching. I think it's time to talk about is just having it structured, an intake process to have them kind of like but just having a defined process is what maybe create some hesitancy.
Okay, before we move forward, there are people operating in the space that you are wanting to enter. Christian-based entrepreneurs charge way more than $3,000. Okay. And so your offer has already been validated. You all have a point that some of your confidence in what you are delivering must be in this fleshed out process, as best as possible, right? So you're not selling air and you feel really good about it. Right now, in this moment, I want you to pick a person in your mind. You don't need to say their name out loud. Just think of a person who you have helped through a problem, whether it was you talked through they're contemplating divorce and you helped them walk away from the edge, right? And you helped them save that marriage. Like you weren't in the relationship, right? So you're not responsible for saving the marriage, but God spoke through you and you helped save that marriage. So you helped them save the money that they would have spent on divorce. Okay. In that scenario, think of a person who they didn't believe in themselves or they were contemplating, you put here depression, right? Insecurity. Imagine what that costs, right? If we had to put a price tag on that. I am certain that you both are very skillful when you talk about what God wants for people, right? You know things about the Bible, I'm sure, better than I do. I don't know enough except like the beginning, in the beginning there was, that's pretty much all I know. Okay. To be fair. But I personally feel like I have a spiritual connection with God, right? Like I believe that much at least. And so because I believe that part, I know that if just from our initial interaction here, if the people that I'm thinking, are these 294 followers, get such a wonderful impression from the both of you and your mission, I can only imagine what they would be willing, if they had to put a price on how inspirational, influential, how transformational the experience is in just hearing God speak through you. And so as you move forward, obviously, yes, you're going to execute the strategy and everything. You're going to create your magnet document. You're going to feel real good about it. You're going to be like, yes, this is when we think about our offer, here's kind of the process we take people through and all of that, right? When you have all that stuff figured out, $3,000 is like this compared to the change or the shift that you are going to help them through. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of want to reinforce that. Sometimes that little exercise when you're going to go after our call, go create that outline. I want you both to have that person in mind when you're making this outline. Okay.
We were thinking about, I know I was thinking about initially at least 3X that particular price. Through some of the studying we have been doing about how increased call per se price increases perceived value from the client, but also within us, it raises our game and it provides an initial influx of cash when we acquire a particular customer that will help us to enhance their experience with. I mean, what are your thoughts about, if I may say it?
This is my personal opinion and professional advice. At least between 3 and 6K. When you are a person that has conviction that you can help someone, this is not directed just at you, right? This is just my belief system and what I have seen professionally. When you charge high ticket, not only does it help you, right? Because you put food on the table and it allows you to be able to hire and invest into systems and software and things to elevate the experience for that person. But likewise, it allows you to reinforce this is definitely something that is worth solving. And it costs the person who I'm helping, it costs them more than they're actually paying me. The other side of the coin is that unfortunately it's going to come down to confidence, right? And I absolutely want you both to borrow my belief. If there is any moment in time where you question yourselves, I want you to visualize that example that we went through, right? Because we both know that divorce, unfortunately, is common. Divorce is not cheap. And so when you just take that all by itself, and we consider the state of the economy, the recession, uncertainty that exists just in general in life, like college is expensive, all of these different things, right? The person who you will be helping, it is a drop in the bucket, whatever you charge, as long as whatever you are charging is under $50,000. As long as you are going to execute and support the person through that transformation and get to that result, there is no doubt in my mind that your offer could, right out of the gate, you charge 6 or 7K.
That's belief. Two people can have the same level of skill, and because one has a greater belief in that skill and what they can do with it, it comes across differently, they perform differently, and they can get paid a lot more than another person. They have the same amount of know-how, but the level of belief is different.
Absolutely. Nothing in the middle. It's either A, you're going to have the confidence and you're going to be like, yeah, so Aiden, we're excited to get started today. It's $5,000 for the investment of tuition. That's going to happen. Or, so it's $5,000, right? It's one or the other. You're either going to be like, I wouldn't say smooth as like, jazz, but it's going to come out. You're not going to think twice. You're just going to say it the way that you would say, oh yeah, I went to the store today. Okay. Or the opposite's going to be true and there's going to be some reluctance or hesitation. And unfortunately, if it's that one, it just means you've got to get more confident in what you're saying before you actually get on these calls. I want to encourage that you support and uplift each other, because right now there is a little bit of a disconnect. One person says 5K and the other person says 7, right? So when the time comes that we're going to increase the price to 7, we've got to make sure both people are on the same page, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So let's start with 5K for now. Not a problem. Let's do that. And then once you all have your first 5 to 10 clients, we can always do a price increase for the promotion cycle. Awesome. So how much is our program?
5,000.
Okay, great. Shortly after our call, Ty ended up sending me this message, and I couldn't have been more happy for both of them. They did, in fact, get their very first paying client, and it just goes to show and proves that if you have the belief and the conviction that are necessary, you are, in fact, going to get this sale.